You wanted the best, you got the best. I, the record spinner, will be hosting the Kiss Vinyl Extravaganza on Whatnot. So be sure to tune in to the Classic Catalog Show, where I will be auctioning off Kiss records that comprise of, you guessed it, the Classic Catalog, and you'll definitely don't want to miss out on the Solo and Collectible Releases show, where I'll be auctioning off solo releases as well as a bunch of unofficial pressings supplied by Brian's Kiss Vinyl. I'm also going to be giving away some autographed Kiss Vinyl supplied by Kiss Haven. I do suggest you sign up using my referral link, which is whatnot.com/invite/the record spinner, where you will receive $15 credit that you can put towards your first purchase. So be sure to go on whatnot.com, search up the record spinner, follow my account, bookmark the 2 shows. So I will see you guys then. What's going on, vinyl community? Welcome to another video with the record spinner. In today's video, I'm going to be doing a vinyl haul showcasing all of the records that I acquired within the month of January this year in 2024. It's the first monthly vinyl haul of the year, and we're kicking things off with a bang because there is a lot of good stuff in this haul. We have some Christmas VCLT, some releases that were done as part of Rhino Records' Start Your Ear Off Right campaign. We got some King Gizzard to beef up the collection, new Green Day record, and much, much more. It's about to go deep, so without further ado, sit back, relax, and enjoy the latest finds. All right, guys, it's a new year. That means we're going to kick things off with a trip over to my favorite record store, and that is Sky Valley Records. It had been several months since I last was there, and I figured that I would give Chuck a visit and check out some of the notable things he had gotten in recent months. And sure enough, left with a small stack to get me into the new year. Starting off with a record that I believe was there the last time that I was at Sky Valley, but I kind of have this thing with like certain albums that I see there that I don't pick up the first time around. I just think to myself, if it's still there next time, then it's meant to be. Sure enough, that was the case with this record, but it's also one that I've been needing for a little while, and that is Electric Wizard, Wizard Bloody Wizard. Electric Wizard is a doom stoner metal band, kind of like Sabbath, but a bit heavier. And I have definitely picked up Electric Wizard albums at past Sky Valley visits that I've done. And I figured that I would just, make it more of a thing and pick up this album of theirs, which I've been itching to check out for some time. Cool gatefold design there with a band photo. And you do get some nice bits of extras with this release. You get a giant fold-out poster, which is pretty sick. And there's also a printed inner sleeve here. And here is the vinyl, standard black vinyl, but with a cool custom center label there. So pretty solid stuff. Still beefing up my Electric Wizard collection, and glad that I picked up this particular album of theirs. Now we go into the 80s. The Prince of Darkness is slowly reissuing his catalog individually. Obviously, there was that big box set of everything on splatter vinyl, and that's commanding thousands of dollars right now. So they're slowly but surely putting them out individually, which I think is deserved because given his stature in the music/metal realm, you would think he would already have done it. And I am talking about Ozzy Osbourne, Bark at the Moon. This came out back in 1983. This was Jakey Lee's first album with Ozzy since Randy Rhoads' passing. And this is an absolutely solid record, of course. The title track, there's Ozzy there as he appeared in the music video. You're No Different is solid. Rock and Roll Rebel, Waiting for Darkness. Really solid stuff, and it's great to see this album get reissued for its... was it the 40th anniversary? Just recently in 2023? That sounds about right. But what's cool with this release is that it does replicate the original printed inner sleeve with band photos and lyrics. There's also a really solid poster, which opens up just like that. And here is the vinyl, which comes pressed on blue vinyl with that epic era appropriate label. And this is a RSD Essential piece, which is kind of like an offshoot for Record Store Day. Just gives them a reason to release stuff all throughout the year instead of April or Black Friday. So really happy to get my hands on the reissue of Bark at the Moon. Now we go down the unofficial route with a Van Halen release, which is pretty solid. I'm actually kind of curious if they'll do an official press of this, since they just did the Van Hagar box, and obviously the Roth era stuff has always been out there. This is Best of Volume 1. So this compilation, which came out, I want to say around the 90s, brings together all of the notable tracks from both the Roth and Hagar era, which is pretty solid. And it's Volume 1. Where's Volume 2? But that's standard artwork, black with the Van Halen logo, the later Van Halen logo, I should say. 2 LP set on gold vinyl, which looks absolutely vibrant. It has a slight sort of rippled effect in there too, which looks pretty solid. So really excited to get this unofficial pressing of quite a notable Van Halen compilation. And then we keep it in the 70s hard rock vein. This was kind of before they sort of hit their commercial peak in the 80s. And that is Scorpions in Trance. One of my co-workers had actually played me this album some time ago, and I really, really dug it. Not gonna lie, I am not too familiar with some of the Uli Roth era Scorpion stuff, and actually this is the first Scorpions record I have in my collection. That's crazy. I still need Blackout and some of the other ones from the 80s, but I do recall really enjoying this when I first heard it. And I figured that if I saw it around, I would check it out for myself. So this came in recently at Sky Valley, had to snag it, and it comes pressed on sort of milky, clearish kind of vinyl, which looks pretty solid. So just by that small stack alone, I have a nice hard rockin' start to the new year. Okay, so recently I met up with my best friend Chelsea, aka the Record Spinnerette. Holidays were pretty busy for us, so we managed to meet up, do a Christmas gift swap, as well as grab some grub and check out a record store in our neck of the woods. But before I showcase the vinyl, I'll showcase some of the other cool music-related things that Chelsea got me. She got me this badass Kiss Raglan, which looks pretty sick. And also this book called The Lyrics of Syd Barrett. If you know me, I'm a massive Pink Floyd fan, especially the early stuff, and I love me some Syd Barrett. Features some bits of his artwork, as well as photos of him with and without the Floyd. Overall, a nice piece of publication, so very happy that I got this. Now, if you have seen the videos that I've done with Chelsea on my channel, you know that her favorite artist is Taylor Swift. Now, Taylor Swift, I will say, is an artist that I do respect when it comes to talent, as well as humanitarianism and just the stature that she has built for herself. Not necessarily an artist that I am going to run to my turntable to listen to, but it's one that I have respect for. And needless to say, when it comes to getting Taylor Swift on vinyl, it's always thanks to Chelsea. And the most latest release that Taylor has released is 1989 Taylor's version. So of course, this is a part of the whole thing where she is re-recording her early catalog to retain the masters and this and that, a whole, music industry kind of loophole, basically, that's made quite some big headlines when she started doing this. But what's cool about these Taylor's versions is that they include bonus cuts of tracks that did not appear on the original albums when they first came out, and they're pretty solid. So it's like you get, all the stuff and more. This album, though, I do remember when it came out vividly. Blank Space was the big hit. Shake It Off is on here as well. Bad Blood. So there's actually a lot of songs that I do remember, in fact, when this album came out brand new back around, I want to say, early 2010s. I was in high school at the time, so I do remember this album quite vividly. But this is like the standard jacket, basically, since there's also 4 covers and 4 colors and such. You know, her marketing team knows exactly what they're doing in that regard. But I do have to say, it is beautifully designed with these printed inner sleeves, the gatefold, and this comes pressed on sort of tangerine creamsicle colored vinyl, and this is in fact the Target exclusive pressing. So very thankful for Chelsea to hook me up with this latest Taylor Swift record. And then here is a little piece of our childhood. This was a film that we absolutely adored watching when we were younger. It's funny, we were big fans of this movie before we even became friends, but it's kind of lodged in our childhood. And this is actually an Urban Outfitters exclusive, which is only available through them as far as I know. And that is the soundtrack to Freaky Friday, the Disney version. So this features Lindsay Lohan and Jamie Lee Curtis. And honestly, a solid soundtrack. You have Simple Plan, you got the Donnas, you also got Joey Ramone, Andrew WK, Bowling for Soup. Let's see, who else is on here? Honestly, this is very much a product of the early 2000s. Let's just say that. So if you're my age and you remember this film, it is very much a time capsule and a great soundtrack. It's a great punk rock kind of soundtrack, which is absolutely phenomenal. Nice gatefold jacket. First LP comes pressed on purple vinyl, and then the second LP comes pressed on green vinyl. Absolutely solid package and a fun listen. So very happy to get my hands on some nostalgia thanks to Chelsea. So thank you very much, Chelsea. She'll definitely be back on a video sometime this year to showcase her other records that she's gotten in her collection. So that's what she got me for Christmas. And then we also made a trek out to the record store Tunes in Voorhees, New Jersey. And of course, anytime I go out to a record store shopping venture, I always try to leave with one thing. And sure enough, I picked up another record to beef up my King Gizzard collection. One of many records to beef them up because they just have way too many records. I say that, but yet their productivity is quite astonishing. And this album is called Oddments. So this is kind of like the Odds and Sods record. It's basically a curation of various tracks recorded over a period of time. I was debating between this album as well as Infest the Rat's Nest, which is like their thrash metal album. But I remember Chelsea was pointing at a poster that was at the store, and I looked over, and the next poster that was over there was one promoting the Oddments record. So I was kind of stumped on which one to get, but seeing that poster kind of solidified my decision. This is still very much in the sort of West Coast psych pop kind of realm. Very much, I almost attribute some of the early King Gizzard stuff as like very like Tame Impala, Foxygen-ish, but with a bit of a twist. So it's really up my alley, and I'm really excited to dig into this album of Various Oddments, as it is titled. Nice trippy imagery on the gatefold jackets. Nice printed inner sleeve with lyrics and credits and liner notes. And this pressing comes pressed on purple vinyl as well. So overall, solid day full of great gifts as well as a solid find. Okay, so recently I found myself at Collingswood Music, which is a great store in my neck of the woods in South Jersey, just right outside of Philly. And it's one of those shops where it's predominantly an instrument shop, but they also carry records. And their selection is really impressive, and I always leave very satisfied anytime I go there, and also just simply shocked to see what exactly is there. And I remember seeing this record there the last time that I was there, and I was actually kind of on the hunt to pick up records by this band at the time, but I think I left with something else the last time I was there. But anyways, because I am getting more into this band, particularly now, I figured it would be a prime time to stock up on more of King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard. This is the Wallabies Beach EP. This came out back in 2011. When it comes to my sort of journey through the King Gizzard catalog, for as much as I want to experience everything that they've done, I have gravitated towards the sort of earlier stuff, which is very much deeply rooted in like West Coast psychedelic rock and pop type stuff. and I absolutely am loving what I'm hearing, so I figured I would give this one a shot since it is relatively early in their timeline. The artwork overall is pretty sick on this, as you can see here. I'll take it out of the bag so you can see. Nice glossy embossment on the back with the track list. Nice printed inner sleeve with some lyrics. Here's a band photo of the King and the Lizard Wizard. And this comes pressed on red vinyl, nice green label, mastered at 45 RPM. Solid stuff, and definitely excited to dig deeper into some early King Gizzard territory. Okay, so we are not just starting our year off right, we're starting our year off right with Rhino Records. And every year at the beginning of the year, they always reissue a line of albums on limited edition colored vinyl as part of their Start Your Year Off Right campaign, kind of similar to what they do in October with their Rocktober series. And I kind of see those sort of lines of reissues, sort of like Record Store Day. Regardless of what they put out, there's always something that I want. And Rhino Records is one of my favorite reissue labels. They're always putting out reissues that both look great and sound great as well. So I took a look at what was coming out this year, and I got my hands on a couple of things. Starting off with an album that I knew was going to get reissued at some point. It was just a matter of when. And that is The Doors' Alive, She Cried. Now, this album came out back in 1983, so I guess you could say this got reissued in time for its 40th anniversary. And it's basically just like an interesting collection of various live odds and sods. You have the sound check rendition of Them's Gloria from the Aquarius Theater. You also have Texas Radio and Love Me Two Times from a European TV show from 68. Moonlight Drive from the Hollywood Bowl from 68. So it's just a little bit of, just random bits and pieces, some of which got new overdubs from Robbie Krieger at the time and some funky edits. So it's a bit of an interesting collection. It's been long out of print, and I'm sure for those that grew up as Doors fans in the 1980s, they saw a release like this as a bit of a big deal just because this was fresh Doors product. And what goes around comes around when it comes to the Doors. They're always reissuing the catalog for the millionth time in various anniversary versions and just this and that. So it was a matter of time. And then when that time came, I knew I was going to buy a copy of it because I'm a little bit of a Doors completist. So very happy to get my hands on this. I do have to say I love this live photo of the band featured on the printed inner sleeve. Shot from behind John Denmore's drum kit. It's a really great shot. And then here's the band at the Hollywood Bowl as well. And of course, keeping it in line with the color of the logo on the cover, this comes pressed on green vinyl with that era-appropriate Elektra label, which is pretty solid. And then keeping it in the live vein, here is a live album that I actually almost picked up recently in its original single LP form, but this right here is an expanded version of The Velvet Underground live at Max's Kansas City. So this album first was originally recorded in 1970 on a portable cassette recorder. So it does kind of retain a little bit of a lo-fi bootleggish kind of quality, just like most Velvet Underground live recordings in general, maybe with the exception of the Matrix tapes, which are absolutely exceptional sounding. But this came out as a single LP in 1972. And then in 2015, the expanded version came out where you basically got the full show. And that was also pressed on vinyl. And that kind of dried up for a while. Like, I was aware that it had existed, but I just never really saw it out there. And like I said, I came close to getting the single LP version. And then when I saw this get announced, I was like, perfect timing. So got my hands on that. And this comes pressed, both LPs. Purple vinyl on the first, and the second LP comes pressed on red. So really solid stuff, and happy to get some more live Velvet Underground in my collection. And then finally, the last piece that I picked up is a compilation that is now being released for the first time, as it was supposed to come out as a follow-up to some original artifacts from the psychedelic era. Yes, I am talking about Nuggets, Volume 2, original artifacts from the first psychedelic era, 1964 to 1968. This was supposed to follow up the original 1972 compilation Nuggets, compiled by Lenny Kaye. He also compiled this as well. And this has Love and Spoonful, Love, Syndicate of Sound, The Five Americans, The Sonics, and a whole bunch of other great psychedelic bands. I honestly love compilations like these. It's kind of like how I approach the Brown Acid comps that Riding Easy Records puts out of all the 70s underground hard rock stuff that really no one's heard of. Granted, you know, if you're in the know of psychedelic rock from the 60s, you probably know all these bands, but it's nice to have it all under one umbrella as a comprehensive anthology to just kind of dive right in. And this looks absolutely tremendous. Nice gatefold jacket with liner notes on all of the songs and giving some backstories. And I do have to say, I love the colored vinyl of this collection. I'm just going to showcase one because it's the same across the board. But also, I love how you have like these stock Electra inner sleeves right here. I just think that's a nice little touch. But get a load at how this pressing looks. Check this out. Here we basically have turquoise vinyl with green and purple splatter. It looks absolutely gorgeous, and you have that 70s Electra butterfly label there. So fitting of the time, and it looks absolutely stunning. I am so stoked to have this. This is going to sit well alongside my my original Nuggets compilation that I already have in my collection that I got a couple years back, and dive deeper into some psychedelic nuggets. Okay, so here is a new album that just came out this week, and it's called Surrender. I'm just kidding. But in all truthfulness, this album just came out recently, and the last album that this particular band put out was back in 2020, and it was an absolute disappointment, and I'm sure many fans of this band would agree. But after listening to the couple of singles that have dropped from this album, as well as listening to this album about 4 or 5 times at this point, I can gladly say that Green Day is back, and this is their brand new album, Saviors. The best way to kind of summarize this record is that with 15 tracks clocking in at around 46 minutes, it kind of packs in that rapid-fire intensity that was found on earlier albums like Kerplunk and Dookie, but the songs on here are just so mature sounding, very much in the vein of what they would kind of find themselves in with American Idiot and 21st Century Breakdown. And so it kind of rides right in the middle, whether if you're an old school fan or a bit of a late bloomer when it comes to Green Day. I think there's definitely something for everyone to enjoy on this record. It's definitely their most focused record in years, and it's an absolutely stunning listen indeed. All around dig the artwork. And also, minor note, one of my favorite facets of traditional like vinyl packaging is a double-sided poster, and I feel like it's not utilized much these days. So when I saw that Saviors came with this, I thought this was absolutely killer. So this side has the band just like this, and this side has all the lyrics along with a Polaroid photo of the guys. And of course, I had to pick up the indie exclusive pressing, which comes pressed on split color black and pink colored vinyl, which obviously encapsulates the color scheme of the artwork quite perfectly. And yeah, right now, since I have been so enamored with this record, now I'm going to look at the concert tickets because they're coming to Philly sometime next year. I got to look into it for myself. But just so far, 2024 is off to the races with a solid start for new releases when it comes to Green Day's Saviors. So after a rather hectic holiday and a hectic start to the new year, the youngest members of the VC finally got around to doing the annual Christmas Zoom session where basically we get each other a bunch of Christmas gifts and we basically just sit down together, watch us all unwrap them, and just absolutely be in awe of what we got each other. And also it was a means to briefly talk about the plans for this year's trip that we're going to be going on in the summer. You'll have to find out later on as to where we'll be going. But needless to say, I got myself a nice stack of Christmas VCLT. And of course, the youngest members of the VC consist of myself, Marican at Marican's Music, Emma at 8 Vinyl Low, and Jenna over at Spins and Needles. If you watch my channel, you're probably aware of this and you've seen our documentaries of all of our yearly travels. But I'll start off with what Marican got me, or in this case, I should say got us, because she got all of us these nice little Merry Grinchmas cards, and inside is a little photo of us before we boarded the dinner cruise ship when we went to New Orleans last summer. So if you saw the documentary, you remember when we were on this. So it's a nice little photo to have. And outside of vinyl stuff, because Marika knows that I am a Kiss freak, she also got me a DVD copy of the Scooby-Doo and Kiss movie, which obviously I was aware has been out since, when did this come out? 2015, I want to say. And I never owned a copy, odd enough as that is. So I finally got that because the Kiss completist in me has to have it. So got that. And now let's tackle vinyl. And oddly enough, I came close to getting this fairly recently, and I kind of passed. So it was kind of miraculous timing. And also, I have not picked up any records by this particular artist. And this album, I would say, in his catalog is a must-own. And that is Elton John's Captain Fantastic. Of course, Someone Saved My Life Tonight is on this. Fantastic record from Elton. And I just needed it in the collection. I gotta fill some gaps in my early Elton John collection, because for the most part, it pretty much covers a lot of bases. I just need to get a few others, and I'm pretty much golden. I don't know if I'll go down the completest route, but I'm getting there. But of course, as you saw, gatefold jacket, and it does come with the lyric booklet as it appeared originally with the original pressing, with all kinds of illustrations and photos, all that good stuff. So I'm really quite excited to dig back into Elton's work with this album. And of course, as you see there, nice custom center label. So we got that. And of course, because Marican is also a Queen fan and her favorite member is Roger Taylor, I had to get this at some point. But also, this is an album that I have been itching to check out for myself. And that is Roger Taylor's Fun in Space, and this was his first solo album from 1981. So it's interesting because it was during when Queen was still, an active unit, and it kind of sits well amongst, The Game as well as Hot Space, and, that particular era of Queen is pretty cool. And when it comes to the stuff that Roger has written for Queen, and I'm sure as well with his solo stuff, it is generally very, very decent. So I'm very happy to dig into this early solo album of his. Nice printed inner sleeve here. And it comes pressed on clear vinyl. And I was looking in the dead wax, and I saw a KPG, which means that it was mastered by Kevin Gray. So I'm sure this is going to sound absolutely tremendous. So got that. And Marican also got me a relatively new release that just came out. I believe it was this past year. I remember I encountered this when we went on our New Orleans trip, and I actually picked up one of her other albums when we went to St. Louis the year prior, but I just haven't got around to getting this one, and that is Arlo Parks' My Soft Machine. Arlo Parks is a sort of great, almost R&B, popish, spoken word type artist. Kind of reminds me of Courtney Barnett in places in terms of her vocal delivery. But the album that I have of hers already in my collection is absolutely solid, and I'm really excited to dig into this new album of hers. And this is also an Urban Outfitters exclusive, which does come pressed on white vinyl, which is pretty solid. Now moving on to what Emma had got me. And when I first unwrapped this, I was like, yes, I can finally start digging my way into this band that she has definitely been talking about a lot as of lately. And I feel like I would absolutely love it, but it was just a matter of taking action and digging in when I was going to. And so needless to say, that time is now. And that is Groundhogs. And this album is called Thank Christ for the Bomb. According to what Emma had told me, this is the sort of transition from when they started out as a bit of a blues band and started to drift into the more harder sort of progressive rock type stuff. So I'm really stoked to check this album out for myself. Nice gatefold jacket, and what's really cool is that there's a download card which has access to some bonus cuts. So I'm really excited to dig into this album. And then moving into some modern sort of power pop territory, she had actually given me an album by this band for my birthday just several months back. So now she kind of went to like the option 2 option with this particular band, and that is the new Pornographers, Twin Cinema. This is another album that she has spoke highly of its praises, and thanks to her, it was only a matter of time before it ended up in my collection. So she gifted me this as well. So thank you very much, Emma. And now we move on to Jenna, and you'll see a theme with these two albums that she got me, and it's all in the vein of jam bands. And if you think of 70s jam bands, there's only really two options that really come to mind. And obviously the first one, and it's funny because I told her, I said, if you're looking for ideas on like what you'd want to get me, I said, this one band and just have fun with it. I trust your expertise. And sure enough, she got me an album by The Grateful Dead. And this is the Skull and Roses album from 1971. I am further expanding my knowledge and my journey into the world of the Grateful Dead. Of course, it's partly thanks to Jenna for subjecting me to Europe 72, and then I picked up the debut when I was out in California, and now I got this. And honestly, for as apprehensive as I was of digging into Live Dead, which I feel like is sacrilege to say just because that's where their legacy really lies, I loved Europe 72, and I have a good feeling I'm going to be really digging this. Nice 2 LP reissue, nice tip-on style jacket, all good stuff. So really excited to dig into this. And then here is, I guess, a collection essential, I suppose you can say. This is the Allman Brothers Band, Eat a Peach. This one has Melissa on it, which I do remember from back when I used to play Guitar Hero 2 when I was a kid. That song was on it. And no disrespect to the Allman Brothers, but I remember thinking to myself back when I was younger, I was like, wow, that song goes on a little bit. That's before I really kind of started to develop the admiration for jam bands and improv, you know, sections of music. But she got me this nice gatefold artwork there. It also comes with a nice insert. So overall, so happy and thankful for what the youngest members got me. And I got a nice hefty stack of Christmas VCLT to listen to now. So there you guys go. That is my vinyl haul of all the records that I acquired within the month of January this year in 2024. If you enjoyed this video, please go ahead, give it a like, and subscribe to the channel. See you guys in the next video, and most importantly, keep the records spinning.